All right. I'm having some technical difficulties. There's some kind of beeping sound, going on your end, Jonathan. Can y'all hear me? I was having some sound issues with Jonathan's link, but as soon as he lets me know in the comment section, let's see if he can add him to the stage. Now, can you guys hear my end? All right. You there, Jonathan? I can't hear you. Hold on, let me see something's wrong with mine. Yeah, some kind of beeping sound on your end. Some kind of beeping sound going on, brother. I don't know what it is. It's like beep, 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 beep. I see your mouth moving. There's a bunch of beeping or something, man. I don't know what the hell it is. But anyway, we're going to come in here and discuss when he gets that worked out. We're going to discuss the topics of the night. There's been a few things that have came out. I'm going to have to pull it up here for y'all. But basically, I saw an article on Athlons about Notre Dame is supposedly really thinking about joining the conference now. I know we've heard that 1,000 times before, but there seems like there might be some legs to it as well. But not just the Big Ten. There is a rumor being floated by Dennis Dodd of CBS that Notre Dame may be being considered by the SEC as well. And then on down in the article, it also says that, and I had it pulled up here until we had some technical difficulties. Now I don't have it in front of me, but I remember reading it. So I'll just ad-lib it tonight and do without the links. But the big surprise is that the SEC might be in play. Now, they go on to say in the article, you can tell this is an article, whoever wrote it really wants the Big Ten to get Notre Dame. You know, they want to come down here and they want to take our teams in the South. They want to get some Southern teams down here. So I've always been an advocate of getting Notre Dame. And if I was like, well, it's not geographically correct. Well, you know, the Big Ten is not geographically correct. Neither is the Big 12. Although we are called the Southeastern Conference, we sort of corner ourselves with the name. We could always change the meaning of the acronym to the Sports Entertainment Conference. But we're also going to discuss the fact that a couple of players in trouble at Oklahoma, and a topic that Jonathan sent to me, which is the Big 12 is talking about selling its name to a corporate sponsor. Rumor has it might be All-State. Going to call it the All-State 12, which to me, I know that the SEC calls it the Dr. Pepper Championship game, but they don't let them call it the Dr. Pepper Conference or the Southeast Dr. Pepper Conference. I just think it's a lame attempt and a sellout way of trying to grasp straws and trying to compete and be involved with the, you know, in the running with the SEC and the Big Ten going forward. And you really can't blame them for that. You really can't. But let's see who's in the house here so far. We got Rye Guy 1218. He's in the house. He's our resident Oregon guy. What do you think about the Oregon Ducks this year, Rye Guy? What are you looking at out there? I think the Oregon might actually be a surprise team to win the national championship. Now, it wouldn't be a surprise if Oregon were to make the playoffs. But I think if they gel with the Dylan Gabriel, the former Oklahoma quarterback, I think that they could be dangerous. A lot of people, give Dylan Gabriel a lot of hell. Didn't really respect him as much as I think they should have, or basically had gratitude towards Dylan Gabriel. Now, the most Oklahoma people in here are smart enough to know that without Dylan Gabriel, they probably would have been in a lot worse shape had Dylan Gabriel not come on board and sort of steadied the water somewhat. Probably a connection issue, says Eric Taco Marino. But y'all can't hear me fine, right? There's no beeping going on. Because that's what was going on Jonathan's end. I thought it was me at first, but it's actually Jonathan. But like I said, I would bring some links up for y'all, but I had to back out and come back in. And sort of lost them. I'd have to go into my email and grab them real quick. So what is nice is that we get Ohio State at home. Yeah, that'd be nice. Now y'all finally beat Ohio State. Was last year or the year before? Oregon had never beat them. I think y'all were like 0-9 or 0-10 against them. Y'all finally beat them. Let's see if we can bring Jonathan back in here, see if there's still any more technical issues going on. How's it going, brother?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it was some kind of beeping. I thought it was on my end.
No, it was definitely on my end because I kept seeing my bar go up. I was like, what the hell is going on?
No, it sounded like you had some kind of metal detector on or some shit. I was like, what the hell?
No, I don't know. I don't know what it was. I restarted the computer and everything works now.
Yeah, I did too, and I lost my links, but I got them sort of memorized. But
yeah,
I'd start out with the whole Notre Dame thing. You know, they was talking about them going to the Big Ten, which is something that's been discussed 1,000 times. But now they're saying that NBC and Notre Dame and the Big Ten have maybe come to some kind of agreement where NBC can continue to televise Notre Dame home games while Notre Dame's in the Big Ten. So if that were to happen, that would probably make it a lot easier for Notre Dame to join. Now, they were saying that there was a possibility that they could join the SEC. And the ones that were arguing against that were saying, well, they'd lose a lot of traditional rivalries. And I don't buy that because we've had so many traditional rivalries go by the wayside. Texas A&M, Nebraska, and Oklahoma. And those were big rivalries. And they weren't just run-of-the-mill rivalries that were let go because of that.
All right. My take on this is very quick. Notre Dame, I get it. They think they're the pick of the litter. But it's kind of like high school, right? The hot girl will eventually age and turn ugly. Well, Notre Dame hasn't done anything in a long time. And they're starting to turn into that ugly girl in high school. So this aged quite not so well. She was a cigarette smoker and an alcoholic, possibly. I don't know what's going on here. But I do know one thing. If Notre Dame's going to go to a conference, can you please just go to a damn conference and let us stop talking about it? Kind of like, can we just please stop talking about Caitlin Clark and Angela Reese? It's kind of the same concept. It's all I ever see every beginning of the football season, right before it starts and right when it ends. What do you always hear about? What conference Notre Dame is going to join?
Yeah, it's your favorite team.
I mean, I actually don't mind Notre Dame, but damn it, man. Like I said, she's turning ugly, and she's turning ugly quick.
Said numerous times when I show you that they're ranked and stuff, you get sort of aggravated with it. You're like, because they're ranked in the top 10 every year, and then sometimes they'll finish right inside the top 10, but more times than not, they finished outside the top 15 when that's happened.
Yeah, and I don't mind Notre Dame. I just think that because of their name, they're always given the benefit of the doubt, like a lot of schools are really. It's just I've never seen Notre Dame win a national championship. I'm 38 years old, right? So I've never seen it myself. So I just get tired of it, man. Like I get tired of some of these.
You've seen it, but
I was too young.
Yeah, you were still shitting your diaper.
Yes, when Lou Holtz won it. Yes, it was Lou Holtz that won it for him. I understand that. I know the history of that. But yeah, I was not remembering that shit. So
well, they'll come back to the fact that Notre Dame got the AAU status, and that's why they need to be. I don't
care about that.
We need to be in the Big Ten because of that. I'm like, man, y'all give me a break with that AAU crap. That's their only way of trying to get over on us because, yes, I know Michigan won a national title this year, but 80% of the time, national champions are coming from the south part of the United States, whether it be the southwest, southeast, whatever, right?
Yeah,
and that's all it is to me. It's their way of, grasping onto something. Well, that's because our academics are so much higher. That's why we can't win it all the time.
No.
That's what they act like.
It's like you said, like you told me before, was a couple of days ago, you said, how many of our national championships have come in the SEC since the BCS era? You know what I mean? Now that you include Oklahoma and Texas, like, damn it, man. It's 8.
But they're trying to say that the reason why is because their academics are so high and they can't get certain student athletes in, which is horseshit because, like, for example, say their grade point average requirements 3.8 and say SEC's is 3.1. Well, they're both recruiting the same athlete, and that athlete can't score 3.1, but yet he gets in to a Big Ten school, and somehow he magically scores a 3.8. It's not really you being smarter or being more academically inclined if you're fixing the grades. You know what I'm saying? And they've been fixing grades for quite some time, man.
Here's the deal with this. If you're a high 4-star or especially a 5-star, there obviously are exceptions to this. There are people that don't go by this rule. For the most part, these kids are not going into these programs, even at Stanford, and they're not going after a crazy degree, right? So, like, a lot of them are going for economics, business, something that's very sustainable, and yes, a high grade degree at a really good university. But and like you said, and let's not pretend like they're not given help. A significant amount of help. Well, you get what I'm saying.
It's like with Notre Dame back when you were like 3 years old. Notre Dame had Tutorgate because their tutors were doing the work for them, and not only that, getting sexual favors from them. North Carolina is fixing to get that. I see North Carolina people on here all the time. They for some reason fancy themselves as the Harvard of the South or some shit. I've seen a lot of their fans get on here. A guy named Tar Heel, 7601 or something. He'll get on here and spout that shit about the grades. And I'm like, you do realize that y'all were caught fixing grades, right? During the Dean Smith era, they were doctoring everything to get those basketball players eligible.
Dude, every school does it. There's no getting around it. I don't care if you're Alabama, Ohio State, Harvard. I don't care. There's some sort of manipulation going on to some degree somewhere. If you want a player bad enough, you're going to break the rules. You're going to bend the rules.
Fred Bagley says that they're so much smarter they should win every year. Yeah, I mean, if they're that smart, they should figure out a way to win in these caveman sports. You know, we're a bunch of cavemen down here.
Yeah, Rye guy down there, RY guy. Dude, I mean, there's a whole documentary on that, on Stanford and USC and those schools taking money to, you know what I mean, to get celebrities, kids into school. Like, these people pretend like Cornell, Princeton, Harvard, Stanford, USC, Vanderbilt, they act like they're not tainted to some degree, right? They're not perfect institutions. No, none of them are. There's this thing that's green, and it's called money, and there's a lot of it, and it requires a lot of it to put together these football programs and even basketball programs. So, I mean, rowing crew at Harvard, if you look up the stats, it's probably not cheap. It's probably not a cheap sport to do.
Right.
So, I mean.
Well, I mean, you bring up the Ivy League and them not being tainted. I can't remember which Ivy League school it was. I think it was Harvard, where the Full House actress, remember the show Full House?
Yes.
Yeah. Where she was paying Harvard to fix the grades for their kids to get in.
I mean, Princeton and Harvard was caught up in that. Princeton, Harvard, Dartmouth was another one. Yeah. There's quite a few. And this was not assistants. This was not tutors, right? These are fucking professors, coaches. A lot of them were coaches. The Stanford was a coach, right? That was working with AD. So, like, you think about that. No, but once again, because there's so much money involved, they're not going to bring the full perspective to light because it would look too bad. So,
well, sort of changing gears here. Oklahoma's had a little off-season trouble. I don't know if you've seen it.
God, yeah.
A couple of their players got arrested. And like I said, I had the links to this, but I don't anymore.
I got it up on mine. But
it was Makari Vickers and some other guy. Slips my name. His name slips my mind.
Deion Burks.
Yeah, Deion Burks is supposed to be a really good wide receiver, transfer from Purdue.
Yep.
And I know some of the Oklahoma fans out there be a little dismissive of it and try to act like it's not a big deal because I think maybe they were misdemeanors. There might be one that might be upgraded.
No, Burks is a DUI, straight up. But I don't. I mean, as far as I'm aware of, that dude probably won't see the field this year.
Well, Makari Vickers, from what I saw, had a DUI and possession of drugs.
Yeah, that one's kind of like it. I know people are going to get on here and speculate and say they know, but if you look up the county will give a release of information of anybody that's been arrested and the charge that's been put in place. I don't know if anybody knows this or not. I can't find anything within that county that's releasing action. It says charges pending. So they as far as what the county is saying, they're not even officially releasing what they're charging Vickers with.
What I read was
which is wild.
Some misdemeanors, maybe an upgrade to a felony on something. But they were saying in the articles I was reading that both players were expected to play.
That would be wild to me if you get a DUI.
But to me, it's like, the Oklahoma fans going, a lot of other college fans, same way, Alabama fans, same way, going to come on here and say, nah, it's not that big of a deal. It's, kids being kids, which aggravates me because they're young men. But if they're doing this stuff now during the off season, man, it just shows a lack of dedication and not getting into trouble and shit. All you got to do is not speed. You probably never get pulled over.
Yeah.
He's doing 25 miles an hour over the speed limit, and he was drunk. So it's just like, our defensive coordinator during the offseason, and Saban got caught drinking and driving, and Saban let him stay. They probably did some behind-the-scenes punishment or some sort, but it just made for a, to me, just not a good example, to lead your team. These are supposed to be very good players, so do you want them on your team at this point, or you just find some way to punish them behind the scenes? How's it going to work?
I'm punishing them behind the scenes 100%. I don't believe that you do one thing. Now, if you were to kill somebody, if you were to wreck in that DUI, I'm totally with you're gone, right? You're going to prison probably anyways. But I feel like if you get a DUI, if you get possession of weed, I'm not saying it's not a big deal. But what I'm saying is you can recover from that. Because the thing about it is at the end of the day, Brent Venables, his only job isn't to be a coach for the X's and O's. His job is also to be a father-type figure, whether you want to hear that or not, to these kids and teach them life. Because part of being in college, you're most likely away from what? Your parents, right? From the friends you went to school with or whatever it may be. So part of that experience is going through life. So I have a hard time saying because someone makes one mistake, you should be booted off of a team. Alabama was notorious for getting grilled for letting players come back, right? So we'd have somebody smoke weed. Don't get me wrong, they'd be suspended or set out a year, but they were still on the team. Saban spoke out about that a lot. He made a whole conference on it, actually, talking about giving players second chances and stuff like that. Because I can't remember the name of the player that came over from Georgia that got arrested, and Saban gave him a chance. I don't know if you remember or not.
Yeah, I just hate they're having trouble this early in the season. In a season it's really going to be a huge test for Oklahoma going into a new conference. It's just something they didn't need right now. But on the flip side of that, all these people out there that like to hate on the blue bloods like Oklahoma and Alabama, and even I guess you could say Notre Dame, Ohio State, USC, teams like that. They're hating on the blue bloods just because they're looking for a reason to try to bring them down a peg. And like you said, I think that they should be punished, but I don't think it should be over the top. And people that are rivals of Oklahoma need to chill out and stop worrying about how Oklahoma's punishing their players and worrying about beating Oklahoma on the field.
Yeah, and here's the deal. Like, you don't want to overcorrect, right? Because if you overcorrect, recruits are paying attention to that are coming up in this 2025, 2026 class. They're going to see, they're watching how Brent Venables is going to respond to this, right? You're dealing with turmoil right now from players. How are you going to control these players? Vickers is not a low-grade recruit. Vickers is one of your best guys coming into this season, in my opinion, like one of the top recruits that you just got recently. So this is not some guy that's just strolling in from another team. I know Deion Burks is good, but like Vickers is going to be that dude. I did a video on Vickers, right? So, eventually, like I said, people make mistakes. They're going to make mistakes. How do you rebound from that mistake? That's what we're going to pay attention to.
He's just got to, with him being as high profile as you say he is, he's one of the stars of the team.
Yes.
As unfair as it may sound, he's held to a different standard, and he's just going to have to lead a little bit better, and hopefully they'll get this behind them and learn from it, and just hope it's not something that keeps festering and keeps happening, because sometimes you'll see this happen during the off season and then just start snowballing, sort of like with the Florida Gators back in the day.
Oh my!
Where it should just keep snowballing.
Okay, that turned out to be on a whole different level. You had two killers on that team. Like two, not one. people easily remember Aaron Hernandez. I forgot the wide receiver that went on to get a murder charge, and he's in prison now. But yeah, that was a bad team.
Michael Hapgood says Cleveland County will make them accountable. Well, I hope so. I just want to get that shit behind you before the season starts, because you don't need those kind of distractions with the kind of pressure that Oklahoma's going to be under this year. My guy says, in his opinion, the nicest person to attend USC is O.J. Simpson.
I mean,
had to get that in there.
O.J. Simpson, he made a lot of people a lot of money when he was at USC.
Leave it to an Oregon guy to provide me with the obligatory shot at the skill figures. Because I really enjoy it. I ain't going to lie. I appreciate the hell out of that CSY guy. I took that shit to the hole. That's some Hakeem Olajuwon shit right there.
So now I'm going to read off this report too, because we haven't been given the full story of the arrest, by the way. There was this was released recently. This was reported from the dude Storm, whatever. He works for somewhere. It says the same night OU wide receiver Deion Burks was arrested for DUI right after leaving the Sin City club, which he admits he drank at the club, and he even admitted what club he was at. The dude, see, this is what I'm talking about. You need help. You need a coach, because that coach would have told you, don't open your mouth until a lawyer shows up. But he openly told the cops he was drinking and even what club he came from. And then because of that, now they have connected him to, by the way, another charge. This is why a lot of this stuff is pending. They're connecting him because it says a woman called the police claiming a different OU football player punched and spit on 2 women at the club. Yesterday at Cleveland County judge says denied one of the women's applications for protective order. She was going after protective order, and he said, no, you're going to put your name out there. But where they're connecting him to is because one of the women said it's him. One of them is saying it's not. See, this is what I'm talking about when you need schooling, because if you would have never opened your mouth saying you were at that club, what specific club at what specific time, this would have never been involved. But now it's easy for them to go, well, somebody said an OU football player was here, but they don't know who it was. Well, now they're just going to connect the dots, and they're going to blame the guy.
So was it Burke or Vickers that supposedly spit on the women?
They're not saying either one. The woman that's being held, like I guess the woman the judge is believing, is saying she didn't name one. She said a different OU football player other than Burks. I guess Burks didn't match the description. But she did say it was an Oklahoma football player. But the way this goes. So there's more to it than just what's at the.
And it probably happened, but something else probably happened that led to it. Not defending them or nothing, but it seems like there's always something that leads to it. But
yeah,
I don't know, man. Spitting on someone, man, that's something hard to prove too. I mean, how are you gonna prove that somebody spit on you unless you say the spit?
Cameras maybe would be, but in a club, you're probably not going to get that.
Yeah, well, I mean, if it's inside the club, maybe, but outside the club, who knows?
Yeah.
But moving on to a topic that you brought to my attention, the Big 12 is supposedly thinking about selling out their name. The word "big" is up for sale. What can you tell us about that?
So it's funny because I'm bringing it up now. They actually already have a suitor. Possible suitor. Yes. So the way they're looking at naming it is the Big All-State Conference or the All-State 12 Conference is what's possibly being rumored right now. But it is confirmed that All-State is the suitor that's looking to purchase this. Essentially, the Big 12 Conference will sell the name Big and let somebody, I guess, an advertiser buy that piece, and then they'll make, it says the multi-year deal, so that it'd be for more than 1 year, will be between 30 to 50 million annually to be evenly divided between 16 teams. So, I mean, it's not a bad idea, because here's the deal. The Big 12 has how many blue bloods left?
None. Zero.
None, right? So how do you compete in NIL? You have to find different ways. In my opinion, I don't like the idea, but I'm also going to play on the fence because I don't blame them. You have to make up that gap somehow. And I think
they say
selling
it's
out.
a gap, but is it really a gap? I mean, because
Yeah,
while the SEC and the Big Ten are making a lot more money than you, you're still making a lot of money.
but it's,
You know what I'm saying?
don't even compare.
So they trying to make it like we're going to make up the
no.
gap. They're never going to make that gap up.
They won't. But they gotta try. Are you gonna say not to try?
What's going to happen when the SEC? And I've done a podcast on this about yesterday. What are they going to do when we suddenly turn our attention back to them? Right now, the ACC's in the crosshairs. I mean.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
I'm not trying to be cocky about this, but they keep making these little podcasts and taking jabs at the SEC and crying about how people are hating on them and disrespecting them. I don't know anybody's disrespecting on my end. I haven't seen you doing podcasts disrespect the Big 12. I haven't seen anybody doing that.
Absolutely not.
All ones I see doing podcasts about it are Big 12 people.
Yeah, that's actually a good point.
Do something. Do like you're doing now. Go out and sell your soul, whatever you're going to do. Call it the Bud Light 12-pack conference and get Dylan Mulvaney to be your spokes trans person or whatever the hell you got to do, man. But the bottom line is when we decide to come back over there and take some more of your teams, you're going to go away just like the Pac-12 went away, just like the ACC is going to go away. As much as I hate to say it because I don't want to see that happen really, but it's going to happen. It's going to be the Big Ten and the SEC one day, and that's just going to be it.
Yeah, look, I'm not disagreeing with it. I believe it's going to take a long time, but I definitely believe there's going to be two conferences.
Yeah,
I think the writing is kind of on the wall at this point. It's going to take a long time for that to happen. So while they still can, they're going to advocate for every dollar they can. They're basically the Girl Scouts at this point on the side of the road selling cookies. All right, they need money. Bring me money. Like that's what they're doing.
So the ACC is probably on less borrowed time. And once that gets dealt with, they're gonna look at the Big 12.
Yeah.
Either that or they're gonna just take their ball and go somewhere else and exclude them. That's what's gonna happen, man.
A decision has to be made. Whether you want two power conferences to include those, or do you want two power conferences to not include those? That's all it's going to come down to. Which teams will be left out on the side of the road, and which teams are going to be left in? Are you going to be one of the cool kids in the club?
Well, people think because I was grilling on them yesterday that I'm all for this, but I really ain't. I really don't like this idea, but
no, I don't either.
You got to tell the truth too.
I like the idea.
This shit's going to happen.
I like the idea of 4 conferences, right? So you get 4 shoe-in conference champions, then you get 8, right, or 7 at large, I guess, highest ranking, with the last one being the highest ranking non-FBS 1 or whatever you want to call it. But yeah.
And Jeff Payton makes a good point for the Big 12. Now, I'd address this as well. They have Kansas and Arizona. It could be basketball blue blood programs. They can concentrate all their efforts on basketball because it's the second biggest money-making sport. But what's going to happen there is, like I said in my podcast, is eventually we're going to think to ourselves, we want that basketball money too. By the way, Alabama went to Final Four in their football school. But Arizona and Kansas, Utah, teams like that are going to be targeted by the Big Ten and the SEC eventually.
Yeah, since Mark Sears announced that he's returning, they said they're going to possibly be a preseason number 1. I don't remember. I can't name one time I've ever seen Alabama a preseason number 1. Ever. Have you ever witnessed that where they came into the season?
I remember that one year that Mark Gottfried had us number 1, but I'm not sure if it was preseason number 1 or not.
I don't think that was.
We might have moved to number 1 during the regular season, and then we promptly went 17-12.
Yes,
so hopefully that shit don't happen.
Yeah, but no, we are right now. They said we're going to be preseason 1 or 2. So I mean that's and if you look at our recruiting, it's way up there. So no, Alabama's, and by the way, they're renovating Coleman Coliseum, so they're almost doubling the size of it. So I mean, Alabama's coming for basketball now. By the way, so
yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's going to happen eventually too. The NCAA is going to lose that too, and then they'll really go away. There won't be no NCAA. And like I told you a while back, and you really didn't like the idea, but I think it's going to go even further than that, where there's not going to be a Big Ten or an SEC. It's going to be like the NFL and the AFL.
Yeah.
And the NFL merged back in the 70s, and it's just going to be one league. And that's what's going to happen. There's going to be one commissioner, not two.
That would be, in all seriousness, that would be the best solution. The best solution would be to get rid of all of them and have one, if you want to just be frank with it. So, and then just honestly have a committee that basically says, here's your top 20, here's your 20 to 40, 40 to 60, 60 to 80, and then you pin up the schedules within those brackets, I think. Right? So you get one from each bracket or something like that. I don't know. Something like that. And I feel like that could work. Would there be a lot more traveling? Probably. But I think it'd be a lot more intrigue. So,
well, they do end up microcosming down to two conferences, which I think, like you said, it'll probably be 7 or 8 years down the road before it even becomes a reality. How many teams do you think they cherry pick from the other conferences? How many teams do you think we end up going forward with just two conferences that will have a legitimate shot at the national championship?
I think the max, I think you're realistically looking at 24 on each side, 48 total.
I was talking about that the other night, 48 to 64.
I wouldn't go more than 48 total.
Now, it may be 66 just because the odd numbers with Notre Dame involved. So it may be between 64 and 66, maybe 68.
I personally think you should do 48, and then you create the second league and have their own conference or their own championship. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. People are going to still watch that. You still have a ton of fans that are going to have fans watching them. UTSA would be, right, they'd be left out. We know that. I'm here in San Antonio. There are a ton of UTSA fans. If you go to Alamo Dome and watch them play, that place is packed all the time, right? We have one of the highest paid conference. Well, did have one of the highest paid coaches in the conference. Now that we moved up a conference, he's still probably top 3 in Jeff Traylor. They're legitimate for what they play within. And I think even if you made a separate whole thing where they were in their own national championship ring, right, where it didn't include the top 48, you're still going to have a huge following. You're still going to have a huge presence in that. And I think it would be fair. And I think it wouldn't lose the following people think, because there's no way people are going to go, I'm not going to watch football because UTSA is not playing against the big boys. No, that's not going to happen.
Well, instead of calling it Division 1AA or FCS or whatever they call it, give it some other name that's not so derogatory.
Exactly.
I can't think of a name right now offhand, but make it to where it actually means something for those programs too. Like, our buddy Kuz, West Virginia will be right there on the line probably of making that top 48, in my opinion. They have a very passionate fan base. You can't tell me that West Virginia fans, who have the 15th highest winning percentage of all time, they got the highest winning percentage without a national title, that they're just going to suddenly not watch West Virginia football.
They would watch it. I'll be straight up honest with you. If you made it to where it was more localized, you would probably gain a bigger following. Yeah. In my opinion, more involvement.
Well, plus those fan bases will have a legitimate shot at winning a national title.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Not just get a charity spot.
Yep.
And then get their ass handed to them in the first round or something. Maybe get lucky one year and win a game, but then get blowed out in the next round like TCU did.
Yeah.
Because they can't sustain it for more than one game. If it was like the BCS back in the day where it was just a one-off, you might get lucky. Sort of like Boise State we did at Oklahoma in the Fiesta Bowl. That was a one-off.
Yeah. And getting down here, Rye Guy and Jeff Payton. So it says, considering San Antonio is near, So they're really close. Me personally, I'm only 45, 50 minutes from Austin. But no, I'm telling you right now, UTSA is a big school down here. Like in UTSA is a big deal in San Antonio. I didn't understand it until I moved here 4 years ago. North ISD, their football stadium is humongous. I knew football was big in Texas, right? You always hear that. But moving to Texas, I understand the high school aspect of it now. Because when I go to the North ISD Stadium, I feel like I'm in something bigger than some of these damn college stadiums, right? So, no, it's very localized. Like, even though Austin's right up the road and the University of Texas is right there, you have the hatred. You have the I-35 rivalry happening between Texas and UTSA. They don't like each other, and they legitimately don't like each other.
You could also have something like they were talking about with like the soccer leagues do, where you could have a team get relegated up from that league, and if someone's not producing, relegate them down.
Yeah.
For example, like a Mississippi State or somebody like that gets relegated down and lets UTSA move up, or like West Virginia moving up and taking Purdue's place, that kind of deal.
Yeah.
But big cities like San Antonio, if you can get them behind that team, then it could be awesome. It's just like with the city of Nashville. They said the city of Nashville is going to start getting behind Vanderbilt. That could be trouble for people. They laugh at Vanderbilt now, but if you can get the city of Nashville behind you, it's the biggest city in the state of Tennessee. So I'm just saying.
There's a lot of famous and wealthy people that live in Nashville, by the way.
Exactly.
Like there's a lot of money in Nashville.
You just got to get them interested in your product.
Exactly. And yeah, it's wild.
See, Rye Guy says whether they are Longhorn fans has no bearing whether they follow UTSA.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to look at the fan base that San Antonio has, period, look at the Spurs. Those are some of the most absolute loyal fans you will find. There is not empty seats in Spurs games, right? It's the same thing. I don't know what it is, what it is about this city that draws it into sports. Their USFL team or whatever it's called was in the national championship.
Gunslingers.
Like
I used to love that name.
they're huge here. You see their merchandise all over the place, right? So where else do you see USFL merchandise on shelves? So you know what I mean? That it's hard to come by. So yeah.
If y'all don't mind, jump out of the chat and smash the like button. It'll push the algorithm and get more people in this party and get this thing crunk up for us. Just hit that real quick and then jump back in here. It won't take you but 5 seconds to do that. You also see people in here with the badges like Jeff Payton and Big Cahoonies Kelly and Fred Bagley. If you want to get your badge and get deputized and get a random Full Horseman shout out on the actual podcast as well as possible be the comment of the day, just hit that join button next to the subscribe button. It's now $2.99 a month. That's 75 cents a week, and that's what for the Outlaw, Jonathan. So how much water is that for me?
It's less than a bottle.
Just a half a bottle of water for the Outlaw.
Bottle of water.
And you'll get your badge and you get deputized.
Oh man! And Donnie comes out. He puts Division 1A, B, C, and that's what they're going to try to avoid. They because they don't want to make it seem like one is more than the other.
Yeah.
If you're going to do it this way, you need to have it like where it's like the American Football League and National Football League. You know what I mean? Something to where it's just.
How does the soccer people do it? They call one the Premier League, and one League called the other thing.
Yeah, I'll be sure honestly, I don't know enough about it.
It's not derogatory. It's not like, oh, you're in the Bush League.
Well, one is higher than the other though. But yes, but the name does not
know it. You're still gonna know deep down inside that you didn't win the top belt. It's just like in wrestling. Some people win the world title and some people win the Intercontinental belt.
Yeah. So like the Premier League, there's no indicator that says, hey, we are above that. So yeah. Right.
And if you have the option of them being able to move up and replace teams that weren't producing at the bottom, that would be an extra incentive too.
Well, and they do that in soccer.
Exactly.
So you know what I mean?
They can do it in football.
Let's see. There it is, Premier League. Okay, there we go. Jeff Payton's got your answer for you. I know one's the Premier League, so I'm assuming the European Federation is the other one, the UEFA. So I could be wrong here. I've watched soccer I watched soccer for almost 3 years when I was overseas in South Korea. That was it, and it's huge over there. That's the only reason I watched it, because everybody watches soccer.
And it's a lot cheaper to play soccer than it is to play our version of football. That's why football would probably be bigger if it wasn't so damn expensive to have a team.
Well,
so it don't cost anything to have a soccer goal and some damn balls out there kicking around with some shorts on. Donnie says if you're going to do a super conference, the Big Ten going to drop their AAU obsession?
They would have to.
They ain't got no choice, man.
Yeah, they would absolutely have to.
That shit will go away. They won't be happy about it. I'm not saying that I don't respect academics, but don't get on here and tell a lie and say that it's something that's important to your membership when we all know it's bullshit because they went and got USC, UCLA, Oregon, and Washington, who are football schools that are pretty good most of the time, but they left out Stanford, California, who are academically inclined.
Yeah. There's not much to say that when you look at the Ivy League, like the Ivy League commissioner or AD is the only guy that could probably speak on that and say this is what's required, but that doesn't even mean the schools within it are abiding by it. So
Fred making it pretty simple for us. You could call one the National College Football League and the other the American College Football League.
There you go. So,
but
and
in the end, there's no way around it. There's no way of them not knowing that they're a little bit less. There's no way of getting around that. So you can make it nice and put a nice little name on it, but they're gonna know in the end.
There it is, the Union of European
like WWE and AEW. WWE is better than them.
Yeah, no, of course.
But I mean, they don't come out and say it, but they are.
And Right Guy has a point. I don't know how Nebraska got into the Big Ten. We know how.
They did have it.
They did, and they lost it.
Yeah.
So,
but we all know that they brought in because they had Missouri at first. People don't remember that, but they was actually going to invite Missouri. Missouri was getting vetted. Nebraska saw them getting vetted. Nebraska's like, wait a minute, we want that spot.
Yep.
And they took that shit away from Missouri. So, Nebraska, we all know they got a big, huge fan base, and they've won numerous national championships. So, we all know why they got in.
Well, here's what I can tell you right now, and leave in the comments what you think about this. We are now entering the age of amateurism, right? You're getting paid, plain and simple. As a player, you're getting paid. So
it's not amateurism anymore.
Well, okay, yeah, that's what I meant. Sorry. You're getting rid of amateurism, and now you have employees. You have 1099. Basically, you're contractors at this point. That's essentially what you are. You're a contractor, right? So that's the way I'm going to look at it. Is this? I believe within 10 years, your college football players will not be attending classes. Your basketball players will not be attending classes.
Well, they won't. I mean, it's just like
sorry,
the employees out there of the university.
Yes,
they only attend classes.
Exactly. So that's what it's going to turn into. Yes, they will probably have to stay or be around the campus, right? They're going to have to stay near the campus or be in the dorms, one of the two. And there's probably going to be specific rules put in place per the NIL deals to have them associated with the school, but there's not going to be any classes taken. So
they barely clean classes.
Yeah, but technically, here's the thing: there's no telling how many employees are employed because they have to keep track of so many students that are going to class that shouldn't even be going to class, right? Like the football players, basketball players, hell, Nebraska, these wrestlers that come out of Nebraska, Iowa, right? I don't know, Penn State probably. I can't remember the other big wrestling schools, but these guys are going there not to go to class. So the quicker you get rid of the classwork and put it to where you're having 2-a-days, and now your only job is lifting weights and garnering that skill of college football, I feel like it's going to produce a better product on the field in college, and you're also going to get a better product when you go to the NFL to get drafted. I believe you should still be required to, you know what I mean? If this is the way it's going to go, yes, you still have to go to college for 1 to 2 years, right? So, but I think it's going to eventually go away to where they don't go to class, and they're just going to rename it like the NBA did into like a G League, essentially.
But just think of how unrealistic the expectations are of these athletes. Yes, I know they get these $50,000 scholarships, yada, yada, yada. But you expect them to go to class at least 3 or 4 hours a day. Then they get out of class and they go and get slammed into by 200 and 300 pound men with the velocity of a small car. And then they're expected to go home and study for class. Man, there's no way, man. And it's been no way for such a long time. It's just the curtain's been pulled back, and all these academia nostalgists out there just don't want to. They don't want to fucking, excuse my language. They don't want to. They're in denial, man.
Well, and right, guys, have the universities considered letting the football players major in football or basketball? It's not the same thing, but what the university offers is sports medicine, right? So I know it's not the same thing, but that's essentially their way of saying you're only going to be concentrating on sports and keeping yourself healthy, right? So while going to class. But no, there's not really any way to do that right now. So, and Big Honus Kelly, I agree with 1,000%. They need to be required to take finance management classes, though. Budgeting classes, learn how to budget money.
Yeah, without your relatives or someone whispering in your ear and shit.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest problem is their relatives sometimes screw it up for them and make them have unrealistic expectations. And they're going to have to do away, like I said, they're going to have to do away with this shit where they transfer every year.
Yeah.
They're going to have to go to collective bargaining like we've been talking about for quite some time.
Well, the NILs are now getting involved, and we already seen it's starting to come about. So
you told me off air that you wanted to touch on Caitlin Clark a little bit.
Oh, no. I'm saying it's just it. All right. I wish there was a way to put a poll on this, but I want to get your take on this. I asked you this before. I don't know if you answered or not. The people watching this need to answer this, though. I feel like Caitlin Clark has to be the most talked about sports figure since LeBron James came in the league. Right? So LeBron was talked about.
Not in a good way.
Either way, I'm just talking about talked about, debated. So
I don't see how she does it, man. Her own teammates won't take up for her.
But this is the thing about it. You see how it draws you in, right? Yeah. LeBron, he went straight from high school to the NBA and was talked about immediately. You're talking about a girl that spent 4 years in college and now coming in, right? So broke the records, right? The scoring, the title record, whatever. And for some reason, this is what I can't get over. How is it arguably the NBA has two of the best guys on the court that are white? When you're talking about Luka Doncic, right? Well, take away the past couple games, and then Joker. You can argue they're in the conversation of the best players right now. Why is there no race baiting going on with anybody else in the NBA? Where you don't see it in the NBA. Why is it in the WNBA but not the NBA? And don't give me it's because of the women, because the men are doing it too, right? The comment sections, if you go into TikTok, are flooded on both sides. Taking up for Angel Reese, taking up for Caitlin Clark. I haven't seen anything in sports like this in a very long time, to where people are actually getting on here and getting pissed off and fired. Look at ESPN. When's the last time have you seen ESPN in a civil war?
Yeah.
Right now, Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharp are in a battle with ESPN because of the stuff they're saying. Like, a lot of these guys are fighting ESPN because even the liberal side is taking Caitlin Clark's side and vice versa. I mean, really, I haven't seen anything like this probably ever.
I saw something Clay Travis said today that I'm in agreement with, and that is there was an announcement on ESPN that said that all these players are mad because some little white girl has come in and took their shine. But he made a point. He's like, why did you even have to say the word white? Why does it have to be about race? Why can't it just be about the individual that's succeeding? Race has nothing to do with how good you are at your trade or the sport or the profession that you're trying to be in. Why you got to make it about race? Why does it even got to be an issue, man, anymore? I know it's a Captain Obvious question, but damn, man. I mean, the fact that she's able to hit a three-pointer does it have anything to do with her being white? You know, the fact that she's marketable I don't think has anything to do with her being white. It comes down to the fact that she's you told me this, that she's the all-time leading scorer in college basketball.
On both sides, women and men. So that's got to account for something, right? So, and look, the side of it I have is this. Angel Reese being the villain, I think it's a good thing because once again, you can pin up the whole Larry Bird versus Magic debate, right? And race can even play a part of it if you want it to be, because that was the case back then. You could do the same thing now. Angel Reese can be the bad guy. Angel Reese clearly is taking that role and embracing it. Do what?
Why can't they just be rivals without concentrating on the fact that one of them's black and white?
Well, But that's the thing, though, is Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese is saying nothing about race. It's everybody on the outside, but they're going after the wrong people. Instead of going after Angel Reese, because Angel Reese is not saying because she's white. She's not saying that. Is Angel Reese embracing the villain role and saying crazy stuff? Yeah, of course. But it's her way of marketing herself to make her money. I don't blame that at all. Just like Caitlin Clark is not saying anything. And she doesn't have to say anything because she broke scoring records in college. So her work will speak for itself on the court. Angel Reese can't say that. So she has to find her own way of making money. So she's making that money that way. But it's the other players. It's the fans. It's everybody in the media. It's creating this narrative that the own two people that are involved in this are not even creating. That's what's so funny about it.
Well, I sent you something the other day, a graph where it was basically saying that the Caitlin Clark game outdrew the NBA Finals first game.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that. When I saw it, I had to look it up because you sent me that, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, there's no way. And I looked it up, and it definitely did. So, and like Big Cajones Kelly says, Angel and Caitlin don't have beef, and they don't. Are they rivals? Yes. Angel and Caitlin both have admitted that.
They made a big deal out of it because one of the girls, I guess, that knocked her to the floor, Angel Reese, was celebrating it with her on the sidelines. But yeah, that's something that happens in basketball regardless of
all the time.
They used to do it all the time with Michael Jordan and the Detroit Pistons. Whenever Bill Laimbeer or
God, bro,
or what's that other guy, John Sally, would knock his ass.
Sally was huge.
Whenever John Sally would knock Michael Jordan to the floor, I'm over here trying to do the Thriller on your ass.
But yeah, no, you're right, and it's just But I haven't seen. Have you seen something like this? This monster that has been created inside the media. I think
they're missing out on a golden opportunity, like you said, man. A lot of people say, "Well, she didn't deserve to be on the team," and blah blah blah. Well, there was a lot of players that didn't deserve to be on that first dream team. People fail to realize that Magic Johnson was retired when they put him on the team from having AIDS, and Larry Bird only could play like 4 minutes at a time because his back was shot.
Exactly.
So neither one of them deserved to be on the team, but they were what? What were they, Jonathan?
Dude, they were marketable.
Boom.
It's funny how that word keeps coming into play, especially being a business major. But yes, marketability is like 100% of this. Like, you can't tell me they have not won the gold since 92, the women's basketball team, right? I think it was 92 or 96. Can't remember which one it was. Right. So they've won 7 in a row. You can't tell me leaving off one player, boo-hoo, they're going to cry a little bit, but look how much more money everybody is making. Give the damn woman that's left off a piece of the pie, right? Whatever it may be. Because the commission was it the WNBA Olympic commissioner for the women's basketball. I don't know what she is. She came out and said, my job is to put together the best team, not to market, right? Marketing is part of it, because if you don't have viewership, you don't fucking do anything.
Why is marketing not a part of it? You can't make money. You can't. You won't even have a sport without it. Although the WNBA has been propped up for so long by the NBA that they really don't make a profit. So, like, they've lost for 27 years in a row now, right?
They have. They've been in the red for 27 straight years. Now, don't get it twisted. The WNBA has been increasing, and I forgot the analytics, the exact numbers behind it, but somebody pointed them out the other day. He was on ESPN. He said, look, the WNBA has been increasing in viewership and everything else between 10 to 18% every year in viewership and attendance, right? So it's slowly growing. But a lot of these numbers went from 10 to 18% to 150 to 200%. So essentially all you're seeing is Caitlin Clark is expediting the process of where you're going to be. Because they said if you take out Caitlin Clark and everything kept going up the same path, it would take to 2029 to get to where they're at right now because of Caitlin Clark. That is the fact that's been proved.
That's right.
So you can't argue stats. You can't argue money. You can't argue marketing. Nike signed her to a $28 million shoe deal.
Sisyphus JWK says the difference is Angel Reese is a CUNT and Magic Johnson was cool.
No, and I'm not saying identically, but what I'm getting at is you could pin it up as some villain versus hero type concept, right? So, or whatever the hell you want to play it as. But the point is usually when there's a good, you want to see an ugly. If you want to see competition, like me and you, shit, we got to play Clemson again, right? So like in the national championship, you know what I mean? Like, or you got to play Georgia, or you got to play whoever, you know what I mean? So you want that. You want the other side of the coin. You don't want everything just good. Anna Kournikova, yeah, brought a lot of attention to women's tennis. Yeah.
Yeah, not because she was a great player, because
she was dropped dead gorgeous.
Yeah.
So
I know saying about it, but you don't have a lot of minorities in tennis either. You have a huge discrepancy in minorities versus white players in the WNBA, right?
Yeah, it's like 85 to 80. They said it was between 85 to 90% black, then the rest white, or whatever it may be, right? So the rest, and a lot of people are saying that's why the big tissy's been put up. That's why everybody's throwing a fit, is because they're saying that a white straight woman is coming to a league that's 30% not straight, and then not 85 to 90% black and not white. So that's what's creating this controversy. And I believe that the controversy is not as big as what people are putting it out to be if the media would just slow it down.
There's just a lot of reverse racism comes out of it.
Yeah. And look, let's not be blind. We're not going to be stupid and say there's no racism, right? But like you said, there's both sides to this.
Yeah, everybody that tries to play that they're not racist thing, everybody sort of favors their own race a little bit, whether they want to admit it or not. That's just true. I mean,
like, I didn't see this big of a deal when Tiger Woods came into golf and completely took over the game. He elevated golf. I didn't know anything about golf. I couldn't tell you one golf player's name. I can tell you who the hell Tiger Woods was.
You didn't see many golfers talking shit about him either.
No, you didn't.
Not really.
No. I mean, there may be a little bit, but it wasn't nowhere near to this level, right? So, like, come on, right? Tiger Woods went into a predominantly white sport. It completely dominated and took over, and now is one of the greatest, if not arguably the greatest. So, and right now, Big Cojones Kelly talking about LeBron James played both good and bad guy in the NBA over the years. You're right, but he owned it. I don't like LeBron James that much, but he owned it. He embraced the role of it.
James either, but he actually took up for Caitlin Clark.
Yeah,
that's sort of surprising. He voices himself.
Well, LeBron is what? I mean, look, I haven't seen anybody say this, but a lot of people, I think in the back of their mind, if they may not want to say it, is the modern day version of O.J. Simpson.
LeBron is?
I think a lot of people will make that argument.
Why is that?
He's a businessman.
O.J. Simpson?
A modern day version of O.J. You know how a lot of people, O.J. Simpson said, I'm not black. I'm looking for the money. I'm looking for the fame.
I don't remember LeBron killing anybody.
Not in that aspect. I'm talking about when it comes to it, he's going to separate himself and say, I'm not about race. I'm about making money.
LeBron wouldn't take off. He wouldn't take off in a Ford Bronco either. He'd be in a Jaguar trying to make it to Canada.
You're stupid. But yeah, but you get the point. Like, LeBron James has never been in trouble. Like, what are you going to say negatively about LeBron James? All you ever hear is he's been married this entire time. He's a great father.
Politically correct goof.
Yes, he's a politically correct guy. Like, he just doesn't do not good things, right? So I mean, he just, that's why I feel like if he was to make more mistakes, people would probably be on his side more because you could relate to him more. Because he makes mistakes. They're just not in the spotlight.
It's just like Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan didn't make any mistakes either.
Well, yeah, we can go with that.
Although we all know he was probably doing some illegal gambling.
Yeah.
They covered that shit up a little bit, but I'm a big Jordan fan, so.
Yeah, but what I'm getting, and that doesn't take away from him being the greatest, but what I'm getting at is, like, but LeBron is not even tied to anything. He keeps to himself.
Caitlin's a lot better looking. I mean, she's average.
Than who?
Talking about she's a pretty white girl, but to me, I don't think she's that hot.
If I'm comparing the two, I think Angel Reese is better looking. Sorry.
Yeah, the Angel East probably got more of a backside too.
And legs. But we're not on here to talk about that.
Yeah, we are. Jonathan knows about that.
Oh, man. So Big Honest Kelly said LeBron did seek financial advice from Warren Buffett. Yeah. One of the biggest, and you know what I mean? Like stockholders of all time. One of the richest people on the planet. And he also, by the way, sought out Magic Johnson when he went to the Lakers because he wants to own the team. Right. So like I hate to do this, but I feel like LeBron is following in Jordan's footsteps when it comes to marketing himself. Like Fred Bagley said, look at how Jordan marketed himself. LeBron's kind of following that footstep of like, I want to kind of do the same thing. It may not be with shoes, but it's going to be with owning something because Jordan owns that market. You're not taking that market. So he's going to find his own market.
He says Tiger isn't black. Tiger says he is black. Of course. I mean, everybody says that. That's anybody that's got half and half always seems like people want to declare if someone's got a white mother and a black father or vice versa, people always consider them black when they're actually half white.
Yeah, they're half and half.
You know, and I think we all got a little bit of something of every race in us, to be quite honest with you. So ain't nobody truly white or black. It's just that we got that shade.
Yeah, and that's the thing. When you look at Tiger, he has the shade. Sorry. So no offense. So, and here's the thing, and look how content marketing Deion's way lost. No, I actually disagree with you. I think Deion has not lost because Deion, the way he's marketed himself, because bad press is good press too, because you're making money either way.
It was short term good, I think, but long term, I think it's going to backfire on Deion's. What I think. I think that's what he's saying.
Yeah, I believe it'll catch up to him because he's not. I don't believe he's good. He's as good as he thinks he is. So yeah. Oh, Monk said, I'm sorry. I was saying, is Caitlyn a heck of a lot better? Look, hang on. I'm assuming he's saying then LeBron James.
Well, of course, unless you're gay. If you're gay, you might think otherwise. Or you're bisexual like Jeff Payton.
I like what Jeff Payton said. Jonathan didn't know that JPC is not Jesse Paul Clark, but just Porn Clark.
Yeah, that's why I said that.
And David says he made all his money from China. LeBron's a sellout. Well, I hate to drop this on you, David, but where the hell do you think Michael Jordan gets his shoes made? That would be China, my friend. So if you want to call anybody a sellout, it's going to be almost every single shoe company.
Just off the topic a little bit, but I was thinking about this the other day. It's just a random question here, but one team out there that could win the national championship this year that nobody's thinking is going to win it. Now they can make the playoff, but nobody really thinks that they're going to be the team to win it. I mean, is there like a slight dark horse out there that's caught your eye?
We're talking college football, right?
That's right.
We've been all over the place tonight.
Not the WNBA because I only know one team. That's the Indiana Fever.
Yeah.
I know who the Indiana Fever is. I don't know who the other ones are.
I know the Chicago Sky because Angel Reese plays on that.
Yeah, the Sky and the Fever.
So
the other ones could be in Liechtenstein. I don't know where the hell they
are. So a dark horse team, man, like they could win it. Actually win it all.
That's right.
I mean, if there's going to be one, it's hard pressed to not say Ole Miss.
Ole Miss.
But Jackson Dart back.
I'm gonna say Oregon, because I think Dylan Gabriel is going to really show people that, you know, hey, I'm better than y'all think I am.
Yeah, but no, I don't think anybody's knocking Dylan Gabriel. I think, and Oregon's predicted to win the Big Ten, by the way, as of right now.
But not many people has them as winning the whole thing, just being a playoff team.
Shit, I mean, I'll be honest with you. It's, in my opinion, I think Oregon would be by top 4 or 5 with Dylan Gabriel.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They're sneaky. They're sneaky good. They're sneaky ranked, but nobody's really talking about them winning the whole thing. Most people talking about Ohio Stank and
I know
the Georgia Hedge Pissers and
I've seen Clemson. Clemson's been noted. Actually, got quite a bit of attention this year. Even though they haven't won in the past couple of years, they're getting a lot of attention this year.
Yeah, I think Clemson not surprised some people this year.
I think a team that's probably being overlooked. I'm really interested to see how does Norvell and Florida State come back?
How do you come back from getting beat by 60?
Being left out.
I know a lot of their players sit out, but there's no excuse for losing by 60 points in a major bowl game.
No, the loss, but that's what I'm saying. So I don't think they're gonna take it positively.
They lost that game in their home state in front of their recruits by 60. What do you think it's going to do to recruiting?
It's not going to help you. I like Big Honest Kelly. He puts in Miami.
Yeah. It's about time for Miami to start showing that progression with the coach.
They have to. I mean,
hell, is my people name slipped my mind tonight. What's the Miami head coach's name again?
Mario Cristobal.
That's it. Mario Cristobal. People forget he took over, I think it was Florida International, and he took them to a bowl game, and then they turned around and had a subpar season, went about 6-6, and then they fired him.
Yeah.
I'm like, y'all didn't even exist. Florida International really botched that shit. But we'll see this year. I think Miami people are going to start getting impatient if he don't do something this year.
I agree. Big Coney, and Norvell did lose. Florida State lost a lot of people, and that's why I'm hard pressed to really say Florida State. I think the team that could look, Florida's on the hot seat. Florida's got to do something here.
They're going to do nothing, man. Their conference, their schedule is not going to let them, man. They could be a good team. They could be a good – if you put Florida, this is what pisses people off when I tell them this, but if you put Florida in the Big 12, they would almost go undefeated. Guaranteed.
You're going to piss some people off.
I'm telling you, that's the difference. See, they're saying, well, y'all got teams that go 5-7 over there. Y'all got teams at the bottom of the rung like Mississippi State and Kentucky. I'm like, yes, because they're not in your conference. If they were in your conference, they'd be at the top.
Yeah, I don't know who talked about this the other day. It was a coach from not an SEC school, and they were actually talking about that. They said that they actually said Mississippi State. They said you see Mississippi State go 5-7. They actually said that. And they said, but you'll see two defensive players go in the first round of the NFL draft.
Boom.
Like a wide receiver go in the second round, a linebacker go in the third round or whatever. They're like, boom. So you're seeing them in the NFL.
Boom.
Like.
Exactly. And now let's take 5-7 Purdue or 4-8 Indiana. You seeing their players going like that? No.
Not at that rate, no.
Or Baylor or freaking Kansas. I know Kansas is the new in vogue team that everybody picks now, but I'm just saying, man.
Baylor was that way a couple of years ago with Aranda. I was on the Aranda train.
Outside of Vanderbilt, you take 15 of our 16 teams, and every single one of them could compete for the conference title in any other conference.
I don't believe that. I don't believe they're competing in the Big Ten. I don't believe they're competing in the Big Ten. I believe it. No, they're not. Mississippi State is not competing in the Big Ten.
Yes. They would be top 4.
They are not.
Mississippi State would be top 4 in the Big Ten.
No, they would not.
Not just 1 year. Every year.
No, they would not.
Every single year.
You're just saying every shit year. Now.
Those cowbells would be ringing.
No.
Ringing, boy, they'd be ringing in Indianapolis.
Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State,
would win
Iowa.
the Big Ten championship.
No.
Yes.
I mean, who says Penn State's not going to put up something this year? I pick them every year.
Ohio State and Michigan's bitch. Every single year. We're number 3. We're number 3.
I'm so tired of it. Every time I pick them. Jeff Payne says,
won't pick them this year and they win.
Jeff Payne says Florida football could win the ACC. They can't beat Florida State.
Who?
Florida.
Well, Florida would probably come in at least third or fourth. That's what I'm trying to say.
Come in third.
You put a team like Florida in the ACC, and they would finish top 4 in any conference. You put Florida in the Big 12, they'd probably win that shit. If you ain't got Oklahoma and Texas over there, and Florida said, I'm leaving. I'm going over to the Big 12. I don't want to play with y'all no more. They would go over there, and they would whip Okie Pokey State's ass. They would whip all their asses, man, especially West Virginia. They'd go up there, and they'd burn them couches for them.
Oh, they're not allowed to do that no more.
Like, Like that right there. It's like I'm gonna do you. Keep mouthing off.
Yeah, you try it.
I
7'1" guy.
I figured out why you got a neck beard. It dawned on me the other day.
Why?
Because you're so damn tall, man. It can't grow up that far.
You're so stupid. You're so stupid.
It's like a mountain,
You
man.
can't
Once
grow up
so
that
high, you get so high in elevation, shit stops growing, man.
That's funny shit right there. Oh man.
Being so damn tall, man. Go get a tall surgery or something. But declare yourself as a 5'8" white male. I mean, you got people declaring themselves as women nowadays that's got a jack in the box. So I mean, why can't you be short, man? Just pretend that awning over the door in a normal house is not there, and maybe you won't hit your head.
You're stupid. Oh, you know what topic we missed out on?
What's that?
It's not a college football topic. The Dallas Mavericks are down.
Ooh, wasn't there somebody that said that Dallas was going to sweep? Who was that?
Your boy came on here. So Dallas is going to sweep or lose one game at max.
Oh, it was old Dumb Skull News, wasn't it? Or Numbnuts, whatever his name is. Didn't he say that was going to?
I agreed with him. I didn't agree with the sweep. I would agree with the 1 or 2 losses though. I can't believe it.
I can't believe he said that Dallas was going to sweep. When he said that, I was like, I don't think that's going to happen. I could see Dallas winning it. I thought they would. I thought they'd win like 4-2 or 4-1.
Yeah, 4-2 is what I was thinking. So yeah. Yeah, then we got that. And then
Jeff wants me to spank my ass. He's starting that bisexual shit again.
Yep. So he knows though. Everybody knows. Come on, every time I get on here.
Florida could lose the one game versus Florida State and still win the league.
Yeah, you're right.
They could, but they're not.
So
Florida's probably not even the 4th best team in that state right now. Central Florida's probably better than them.
you're probably right, which is terrible, by the way. They're definitely not better than Florida State or Miami. Yeah, you're probably right. They probably are the 4th best.
Yeah. Oh shit!
Oh, there it is.
Don't read that shit. I'll let you read that.
That's why OU has so many conference championships, mid-conference opponents.
Oh, somebody just called their shot.
So there we go. So what we're saying is this: is that now that OU's coming over to the SEC, you're saying that OU's going to be mid-card at best, right, Big Cojones Kelly?
Yeah, I mean, he's basically saying that they beat up on mid-carders for over 80 years, and that's the only reason they got so many titles.
I mean, Okie State, that record is embarrassing. I know they won the last one, and they got the Bedlam Trophy, but dear God, what was it again?
So it reminds me of the Atlanta Braves. You know, he won all them divisional titles, won one world title.
One World Series, and you won it like 14. You won your what is it?
They won 14 in a row.
It wasn't the American League, but they won they won their division 14 years in a row.
Yeah, and won one World Series.
And one World Series out of that. Like, dear
Buffalo
God.
Bills of remember the Buffalo Bills went to 4 Super Bowls in a row.
In a row. Dude. Yeah, that's just embarrassing. Could give up a 28-3 lead in the Super Bowl.
That's right. That would be Atlanta.
Jeff Payton.
We're getting a little off kilter here. But
OU will be 6-8 in the SEC consistently. Jesus.
Damn.
That's mid. That's mid card.
Damn. I'm about to make a segment on this. Like I did about Numbskull. I'm going to have to get him after Big Cojones Kelly.
That's mid card.
Just so y'all know, he's an LSU fan, so don't give him that heat to me. This ain't an Alabama fan saying that shit.
Mentioning that, Brian Kelly, I mean, I think Brian Kelly's got to win the SEC.
A lot of people are saying that Oklahoma's going to go.
SEC.
A few of the experts out there, and the Oklahoma fans are a little riled up about it, but they're saying Oklahoma's going to go 7-5 this year. A lot of people are predicting that.
It's a tough schedule. It could go 1 or 2. I mean, the schedule's tough no matter which way you look at it. I mean, even our schedule, man, like playing Georgia this year, we're playing a lot of good opponents. So
I think someone wanted to get Billy Napier fired, man, because that's just ridiculous. That shit.
That schedule is brutal.
And I had some Oklahoma fans saying, "Oh, they're just biased against Oklahoma, but because of the schedule." I'm like, man, have you seen Florida's schedule? You seen Alabama? I mean, we all got it pretty rough. The only person that got off you need to be mad about is Texas. Texas got a pretty good solid on that first year. Texas got off a little easier than most people, in my opinion. Plus, they're moving SEC Media Days to Dallas. What's up with that?
So that don't get me started on that because that one kind of pisses me off. It's funny because Florida plays UCF this year. So, yes, UCF could stake the claim of being the third best Florida in the state.
Jeff Payton said that'd be LSU that wins it every 6 to 8 years. But if you look at the stats, it's not really the case because LSU has won 3 national titles this century, and they won the SEC championship here recently. I think it was 2 or 3 years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, with Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
So the year after COVID. LSU is usually 3rd or 4th. If you want to do a maybe recently.
Well, somebody's going to move down.
They're going to have to.
I mean, Texas and Oklahoma are going to come in, like I said in my podcast, and they're going to find their spot on the bus, and somebody's going to get up and move.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to probably send Mississippi State to the back and Vanderbilt to the back.
Yep.
I mean, they're just going to – somebody's going to move because I don't see Texas as much as trash as SEC fans want to talk to Texas and Oklahoma coming in. I don't see them finishing in the lower half of the SEC.
No, they're not going to. Absolutely not.
I think they'll at least be in the top 5 this year.
They still have more talent coming in.
I think Texas will be in the top 5 because they got their tenure in a little further with Sarkisian. Once Brent Venables gets a little more entrenched, if people will be patient with him, they'll both be top 5 programs in the SEC. Somebody's going to move down, probably Florida and Tennessee.
Has it been that long? Jeff Payton says Burrow was before. Yeah, it was before COVID, and Mac Jones was during COVID.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Damn,
I said 2 or 3 years. I was off by 1 season. So what's that,
Lord.
4 years?
Going on 4, going on 5.
That's still not what did you say, 6 to 8? That's still not 6 to 8 years. I don't think.
Well, he's saying that they're going to be in between like 6 to 8, as in the conference.
Yeah, they might be. I mean, somebody's going to move down. It might be Alabama. I mean, somebody's going to lose their spot for a little while.
Could be Georgia.
That's why we need to quit adding football powerhouses because somebody's got to lose. Somebody's going to start losing their luster a little bit. Like Arkansas did when they come from the Southwest Conference and they were dominating over there, them in Texas. They get over to the SEC, they ain't won a single conference title.
Well, I can tell you this much right now. OU and Texas coming over to the SEC is getting Sam Pittman fired. That I can guarantee you.
Well, I mean, Arkansas beat Texas a few years ago. And
I don't care. It's not going to happen on a regular basis. He's fired.
Does Arkansas don't play Oklahoma this year?
I don't care. They're moving to the back of the Arkansas schedule too, by the way, is not easy. Sam Pittman may not last this year.
Nobody's schedule's really that easy, except for Texas, maybe. Texas has got Georgia, though. And I mean, I know it's in Austin, but still. You still got Georgia on your schedule. That's not straight up not a gimme.
So, let's see. Arkansas they actually go to Oklahoma State. That'd be an interesting game. At Auburn, A&M, Tennessee. They got Tennessee.
We need Arkansas to win that game to prove my point. Because Oklahoma State's going to be probably top 2 or 3 in that conference. And if Arkansas goes over there and beats them and then comes over here and goes 4-8, that proves my point.
Arkansas is not winning more than 4 games. They're not. Their ceiling may be 4 to 5. More realistically 4. They play Arkansas Pine Bluff. That's a win. At Oklahoma State. I don't see them winning that game. Not with that running back Oklahoma State has. He's a monster. In Arkansas right now on defense, then they play UAB, which is not a given, by the way. UAB is not a given.
Yeah, ask LSU about homecoming.
Yeah.
Nick Saban's first year.
Yeah. At UAB.
Put that wet towel on. Pow!
At Auburn, Texas A&M. Then they got Texas A&M, Tennessee, and LSU at home. But damn, that's still they get A&M. This is Arkansas schedule. They got A&M, Tennessee, and LSU 3 weeks in a row at home. Then they got Mississippi State, Ole Miss, and Texas, right? Then they end the year with Louisiana Tech and Missouri. So they're winning 1, maybe 2, 3, 4. They're winning 4 with a ceiling of 5.
I had an Oklahoma fan tell me something interesting today. They told me that the reason why they're complaining about the schedule is not because they have a lot of hard teams, it's because everybody gets either a bye week or they get a cupcake the week before Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And I told them that used to happen in Alabama all the time. We had to file a grievance with the SEC because they were getting the off weeks before Alabama. Everybody was. Ole Miss, LSU, Tennessee. Even Auburn was playing like a cupcake before Alabama. But, yeah. It's just usual in the SEC, man. You're going to get screwed some years.
Ours every year was before LSU, right? Before the LSU game was every year was ours.
That's right.
So it's pretty much put in place. And Bitcoin's going to say, who gets the axe first, Napier or Pittman? I believe it's Pittman because he's been there longer. And Pittman's making a hell of a lot of money.
I got an answer to that. Both of them's going to get it. I'm telling you now, if Florida don't go at least 8-4 this year, they're probably going to fire his ass.
I think is the money involved, they'll give him 1 more year. But he's got to go above 6-6. And I don't know if he can go above 6-6.
You think 7-5 will save Napier?
I believe 1 year. It'll save 1 year because of how large his contract is.
I'm saying 8-4, or his ass is going to get it.
Pittman is.
Now, according to who he beats, too. If he's to upset Florida State, that might soothe things a little bit for him.
Yeah.
If one of those 7 wins is against Florida State or even Georgia.
Georgia would be the one.
It's not going to happen. Watch me say that. Florida go in there and dust their ass by about 30. And Florida be like Purdue, man. They beat freaking Ohio State by 35 points and then turn around and lose 4 games in a row.
Jesus. Jeff Payne said if they will fire Mullen and McElwain with 4 years, they certainly will. Here's the difference. They were not on Napier's contract. Big difference. Mullen and McElwain's contracts weren't even close. To my knowledge, that I can remember to Napier's. They gave Napier a lot of money. They did. Because Napier, a lot of people had him as the shoe-in to go to LSU. And I don't know, the money spoke.
Says LSU's going to have a lot of night games this year.
Hopefully.
Something about LSU in the night, and they think they have to play their games at night because they feel like they got some kind of voodoo.
That shit's awesome. Man, I want to go to a night game.
I do too. I want to go to LSU for a night game. I'm gonna get me some LSU gear too because I don't want nobody knowing.
No.
I don't want to get the hell whooped out of me down there. Get thrown to the alligators.
Guess I want to go to the LSU UCLA game. I think that'd be fun.
Now, if I go to the Alabama LSU game, I'll just have to take an ass whooping.
I'm not going down there for that.
But like a neutral game, like LSU versus
UCLA, let's wear the sissy blue shirts.
Yeah, LSU no, screw that. You just really get your ass whooped. LSU, you trying to get me killed. LSU versus Ole Miss would be a great game to go to. They got a nice little rivalry throughout history. I'd like to go to that. See Lane Kiffin versus Brian Kelly.
Yeah. I'm reading this. See, Kilbeck first says, hey, no Conus Kelly. When did they play on Dream Team? Dennis Rodman and Bill Lambier gave MJ hell and they play on. Man, so.
Not sure what that's all about.
No, I have no idea.
They just said to go to UCLA game. Yeah, I'll go to UCLA game, but Jonathan's trying to put me up to wearing powder blue shirts. I ain't doing that shit.
No. Wear when it says sissy blue.
Okay. I'll do that.
We can get them made. Just get 2 of them that say Sissy
But that's
Blue.
bad. That's bad mojo there. Last time that was said, UCLA beat them.
I know. Well, this is the redemption tour. So.
No redemption tour. LSU versus UCLA, the battle of the acronyms. Right?
Oh, God, yeah.
I'd like to go. Just ain't got the money to do it.
Maybe LSU could do better if they were smart enough to
supposed to be getting me a sponsor this show, but he ain't done it.
Shut up.
Right there. That's going to be my sponsor, Waffle House.
I would take him as a sponsor. I love Waffle House. It's one of my favorite places. Every time I go up to Tuscaloosa, where do we go?
My mom bought this cup. She used to love Waffle House coffee cups, so she bought one. And then she passed it along to me after she passed away. And that's all I drank my coffee out of.
I got to get me one.
I'll get you one. I'll send you one down there.
So, yeah. Any other
you gotta
news?
Quit telling lies about drinking me on the table, or I ain't going to give you one.
Yeah, shut up. We all know people.
You probably can, man. You got so much storage space.
So
7'5" skyscraper, and I ain't nothing but a damn duplex.
Did you see Trevor Lawrence gets a $275 million extension with the Jacksonville Jaguars?
Woo! He's actually been doing a little bit better, hasn't he?
Yeah.
People are like that, man. These players don't come in and do great in their rookie year. Like, they're a bust. Man, it's a learning curve. You got to wait at least 2 or 3 years before you can judge somebody. Maybe even longer than that.
And hell, his first coach was Urban Meyer. Think about that. He went through that. Urban Meyer comes in as a rookie coach, last 13 games, gets fired in the middle of the damn season. Right? So, yeah, I don't know about that. Maybe LSU could do better if they were smart enough to keep a coach.
Well, yeah, they've won 3 national titles under 3 different head coaches. So if they could keep somebody for a little while, they might be the dynasty.
Well, let's be real. Les Miles came off of Nick Saban.
That's right.
You said, eating grass.
Eating grass was cute until the losses started coming. Shit wasn't cute no more.
And then they end up getting Joe Burrow from Ohio State.
I hate to tell Big Homies Kelly this, but I don't think Brian Kelly's the solution. He got lucky and beat Alabama that first year. I'm trying to be disrespectful, but just saying, I just don't think Brian Kelly's the solution.
It's going to be hard to win a national championship period now. 12-team playoff, that is – you're really got to be on your A game.
Jeff's got a question for you.
If I have a Petrino – I see here, I have a Petrino question. If he is named head coach again, how long will it take for him to bang a girl? 2 weeks.
He's already banging girls right now.
I'm pretty sure he already bought a new motorcycle.
I'm sure he's made sure this time that he doesn't cart someone around on a motorcycle.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's already at the damn Harley dealership.
I would venture to say that Petrino probably has a tinted window SUV or something by now instead of that motorcycle. His wife run his ass off the road and that shit.
So Paranormal says, does Outlaw ever free ball while sitting at his desk? Do you have shorts on? What do you got?
I do have shorts on. Actually, I got my golfing shorts on.
You guys are golfing shorts? I'm sorry. Do what?
Yeah.
Golfing shorts.
I used to golf once upon a time.
Oh.
I can't afford it now because you won't get me a sponsor.
Oh, shut up.
Hey, I'm like one of them news anchors. You know, the news anchors will come in with the tie and the suit on, and then they'll be in their shorts.
Yeah.
I tell you who's free balling. It'd probably be at what's her name? That NBA player went over to Russia and got caught with that vape.
Brittany Griner?
Yeah. If you want to know about somebody free balling, it's probably Brittany Griner. That's why she wears them big long baggy shorts, because she's afraid that shit'll pop out. Like Numbskull News was talking about with the tripod.
Oh my God, that was so funny, bro. That was absolutely ridiculous.
Brittany Griner got that Jack in the Box.
Oh man. But other than that,
Paranormal Incorporated. Are you into the whole Bigfoot stuff?
No,
The ghost and shit?
no.
That's what he said. It's paranormal. Paranormal Incorporated.
I'm just saying I'm not into it. I don't really believe
That's
in a
because
lot
you
of stuff like
Bigfoot.
that. Oh yeah, that's it. Because I am the Bigfoot. That's why I don't believe in it. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Speaking of Caitlin Clark, let me bring up her stats from tonight's game.
What's
They
them
played.
people called that can't grow eyebrows? What's that shit called when you can't grow hair?
I said dysmorphia, but it's definitely not. I can't remember.
That's the kind of Bigfoot you are. You're a neckbeard Bigfoot.
You're stupid. Caitlin Clark tonight in 35 minutes scored 7 points, 6 assists, and had 7 turnovers. Garbage. But they won. The Indiana Fever now are 4-10.
Jeff said to quit whining about sponsors. You claim you have them all the time. I do have a couple of sponsors, Jeff, but I need more.
He needs a big sponsor is what he's saying.
I need more, man, but I do have one right here. You got it upside down. I'm gonna put them back up there. Right there.
Would you hold? Oh yeah, the board.
Yeah, that's Mofield. Mofield's Wood Shop. They make nice cutting boards, all sorts of kind of wood. Anything you want a piece of wood, no lasers ever used. And we also have the Outlaw metal signage over here from McFab LLC. That's Matt McWilliams. Both of their stuff is in the bottom scroll. So I appreciate you allowing me to do a sponsor plug, Jeff.
There you go. I don't know why
that
you
shit
don't do
backfired on you, didn't it?
I don't know why you didn't do that more.
It's like
often.
when I went to Hillcrest and that shit started backfiring on County High, and we started whooping your ass, especially in basketball. We used to spank their ass all the time.
Yeah.
It's like that.
Now, this is what confuses me about the WNBA. I'm looking at the conference standings. How is it that Angel Reese's team Chicago is 4-7, but yet Indiana's 4-10? There's a 3-game difference.
We'll start calling you the alopecia Bigfoot.
Alopecia, that's what it is.
See, Fred Bagley.
Is that he's the one that figured it out? Yeah.
We just come up with all sorts of nicknames for you.
Well, you can't have them all. You gotta pick one and stick to it.
Alopecia Bigfoot.
He does have a big sponsor. Jonathan, it's called his ego. Yeah, you're right.
What'd you say?
He said your ego is your sponsor.
You said let go of my ego? That'd be a good sponsor too. Get me an ego sponsor. I like it. I bet
you do need an ego.
Let go of my ego.
So you can take, the metformin.
Shut up, bitch. Hey, I actually could be a sponsor for diabetics. So I'm diabetic.
There you go. Yep. That'll work. All right, let me see what other news, if there's any more news out there.
You could be a sponsor for Mange.
You're so stupid. That's actually pretty funny.
Jeff's got mange at the top of the head. Jeff, you need to do this right here, bro. Right here. This is what you need to do, Jeff, right here. The handlebar shit's not going to cut it, man. You trying to be like Paul Feinbaum and shit, man. You can't be the next Paul Feinbaum, Jeff Payton. Who's Kathy? What's she talking about, man? I got a harem of women, man.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I got exiled from Utah. I was taking all their women. All them damn Mormons.
See here. Just for Men sponsors JPC.
Oh yeah, that's paranormal. That's Mofield right there. That's Mofield wood shop that I just brought up. I had the shit upside down, so y'all might not be able to see it here. You see it now? Pretty cool, ain't it?
That is actually really cool. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, you need to get you one with UTSA on it. Get your Roadrunner on there.
Yeah.
And not to be remiss, once again, McFab LLC with the metal signage, powder coated. But Mofield never uses any lasers, man. It's handcrafted stuff, man. It's beautiful. You can even put Jennifer Lopez's ass on a board if you want it.
Well, now we're talking.
I don't know. She got a big ass. They'll take a big ass board for that.
It'd be quite expensive.
But yeah, Their shit's down there in the bottom. Hit them up. It's coming across the scroll right now. There it is. Boom.
Dude, it's so funny because do you know how like you ever like see stars become stars like the NBA or NFL, and you can definitely tell like they're not normal stars. Like Keanu Reeves, right? He still takes the train, like the normal train, subway, right? Here in San Antonio, Victor Wembanyama, it's like he's not even like he thinks. I don't think he realizes how famous he is. Like today, they mobbed him at HEB, which is HEB. If you're not from Texas, is basically a big grocery chain here. So you go there to grocery shop, and yes, it is better than Walmart. Sorry. Yeah, it's wild. This dude thinks he can just stroll around San Antonio. He's been to a couple of the downtown like clubs and drinking spots or whatever. He's mobbed everywhere he goes, but he never complains about it. I have to give him credit. The dude's taking the stardom quite well. Oh, hang on. So Jeff Paint said, Jonathan, please scroll. Sorry, I've been all over the place looking for stories. Scroll up.
I answered it for you. I answered it for you at the bottom there.
Oh, you did? Oh, yeah. So, yeah, everything was good, but let's see here. Where is it the one asking if I was about my ex-girlfriend now?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
That's why I didn't answer, Jeff, because I didn't really want to talk
about
it.
No, you're good. You're good. It's
personal. I didn't want that out there, so. Since Jonathan put it out there.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me. Yeah, no, I broke up with her. So
Jonathan got a hair too. He's a Mormon too.
It happens. And no, nothing crazy happened.
Talking about that dream team, ain't you? Like I said, the dream team did not have the best players on it. Now they were the most recognizable players at the time, but they were no longer the same players. They just were very marketable, as Jonathan said.
Yeah. Well, I mean, one of the best point guards was left off. We know who that is.
Woo. You're going to get me a J-Lo board. He said J-Lo's next. Woo. I love some Jennifer Lopez. Boy. I'm going to move down there to San Antonio. Jonathan said Jennifer Lopez is growing trees down there.
And I'm not. San Antonio's. I'm not gonna lie. They got it going on a little bit down here. I don't care what Charles Barkley says.
Yeah, I heard that crap he said about San Antonio. What's up with him not liking
the big? He says they got big old girls. Now, don't get me wrong. There is some big girls down here, but
I'm like, dude, do you not remember growing up in Leeds, Alabama? Jackass.
Yeah, I know, right?
He grew up in Leeds, man. Like Bohemian Rhapsody out there or some shit. Like African booty snatch.
Dude, you're fine.
All right, brother, I'm about out of steam. You want to cut this one?
Yeah, I'm done. I have nothing else to really talk about.
All right, man. Tell them where they can find you and maybe about our other channel if we ever get back to doing it.
College football with Jonathan Lewis. I got to get back to doing my channel too. Second channel, me and him do together is 2 Crimson Nations. So go check that out and subscribe. Other than that, obviously appreciate everybody getting on here, leaving the comments. Fred Bagley and everybody, Jeff Payton, obviously all the normals that seem to get on here. Big Conus, Kelly, having a good time. There's a couple. Where the hell was Killer at tonight?
I don't know, man. You know,
I'm calling him out.
He gets a little sidetracked with that damn poodle. You know, he loves that dog, so he's probably out there walking around that damn Crystal Lake he's got out there.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I seen a picture. It looks like something out of Friday the 13th. I'm be looking for Jason to pop up out of that lake.
Oh my Lord. All right. Well, anyways, thanks for the invite. Thanks for everybody getting on here, commenting, all that good stuff. Make sure to check out the channel. See you guys next live stream.
All right, brother. Take care. That was College Football with Jonathan Lewis. Check his channel out. Check out our new channel, 2 Crimson Nations, where he's just now getting it off the ground. And I'm going to get back to doing my political channel as well. It's called Real American Party. If you ever want to give me some ideas, hit me up on Twitter at OCF Productions. If you want to be on the show and want to hash it up with us live, might even be able to do that. Just hit me up on Twitter at OCF Productions and DMs. With that, I'm going to get out here as well. KMCA to all the other teams, class is now officially dismissed.